What's up, guys? Hope you had a good week. I have just rolled into Montana, where we are headed over to Go Fast Campers. I met the guys from Go Fast Campers at Overland Expo West, and spent some time with them again at Overland Expo Pacific Northwest, and they invited me to come down. Well, let me show you what we're gonna do and why. Guys, I told you when we got rid of the smart cap on the trail wrecker that we're going to do something a little similar but different on the new truck. So we just came down to Go Fast Campers in Montana, and I'm going to show you what we're doing, how it's made, and why it's the right thing for my truck. Okay, so we're inside the small parts facility, yes? So you can see how organized everything is. That's what we were just talking about here, and it seems to be key to pumping out the amount of campers that they're making when they're making them all here at the factory.
I was told early on that there's basically two, inventory systems. One's based on Henry Ford, and one's the Toyota Kanban system that comes from Japan. Henry Ford, if he needed this latch, he would just have like 100,000 of these built, right? And they'd be stored in a warehouse and then used until they didn't need them anymore. We don't really have that kind of room here, so we want to keep our quantities as low as we can, but still never run out. But if we were to start producing this latch and something would go wrong, and say we get some feedback from some customers that it doesn't work proper, we'll turn it over to our engineers and they'll reevaluate it, and maybe they want to make this diameter a little bigger and make these tabs a little smaller. Then we start machining the new style latch, but we only have two little plastic bins on the shelf of the old latches that we can't use. We don't have like a whole warehouse full of them that we got to try to get rid of.
Right, so it's much more efficient that way.
Yeah, it's a lot less waste.
And look at these parts, guys. These are super nice. Look at the attention to detail here. So now we're going inside the factory here where they're making all the pieces. I think you said it takes like 82 pieces or something like that.
880 pieces.
Sorry, 880 pieces for each camper, and they're all made right here at the Go Fast Campers facility. So we're gonna walk around, take a look at the various robots and stuff they got going on. They got robots here. How cool is that?
So this is our machining and robotics facility. We have 18 different custom extrusion profiles. We don't extrude in-house. That requires a very large facility, but we did design all of these profiles in-house. In the morning, one of our guys will come over and program the V10, and when they program it, they'll put in all the campers we're gonna build for the day. That will send the information to the Tiger Saw, which will let the Tiger Saw know exactly what it has to cut. They'll throw this extrusion profile in, let it know that's what's in there, and we have our own software designed that basically produces minimal waste. So it's not gonna cut in order, it's gonna cut in whatever saves us the most material.
Even if you come back down from where you are, all the things you've never done have got you this far.
So you see the camper, you see the finished product. What you don't see is every single little thing that goes into each individual part. And a lot of that's going to be a lot more clear when we look at the actual robots running the machines, because that's huge for us. Yeah, so here we have our robots and all of our brothers. What's really cool about these machines is that we have designed so much of the interface between the robots and the machines themselves.
Can it arm wrestle though?
It can, and it will win. Yeah, absolutely. While it doesn't seem like a whole lot, we actually built this little arm here, and all this does is scoop out the finished product. The finished product will drop down into this bin, and all you have to do is just pick up this basket, and it has all the finished product in it.
That's cool.
What's neat about that is, while it took us a little time to build this, the way this system operates is it allows us to have one guy running 4 different machines, which is super cool. So he's doing 4 times the work with the assist of the robots, making him kind of a human overlord, if you will.
This is pretty complex, what goes into making these tents. It's really cool. You guys are one of the few companies actually making them all in the United States as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't think of another one that manufactures quite as much as we do, but there are a couple other companies that are at least building them in-house.
For your ladder?
Yeah.
This is that piece.
Nice. So this robot is making those ladder mounts.
Now the robot arm is grabbing the piece of material, and it's going to set it here in this bin, which will allow it to center itself. Alright, so you can see our little scooper there. We also built that arm to push it into the scooper. The scooper will come back. New piece goes in. Finished product goes into the basket. The arm makes sure it's actually still centered. So that's 3 different times the robotic arm measures whether or not the material is centered. And now it'll be machined.
That's awesome.
Yeah, super cool. 4 bays here were the original entire production facility. So when I would do a camper install, I had a crane, a pillar crane right here against this wall. I would have to push all the welding tables out of the way, back the truck up in, and drop the camper on. Now we have all 4 bays. We have these 3 bays for Fabric Town, 2 bays over there for fulfillment and small parts, and then we have 4 bays in the back for final assembly. That building didn't even exist. We had that built. Cool, so this is Fabric Town, we call it, where all of the soft goods are made. We'll start with these tables here, so you'll notice the tables are giant and not necessarily symmetrical, and that's on purpose. Basically, each table is designed specifically for what task the end user is doing. So whether they're sewing a specific part or they're just messing around over here like Jim, making their own custom things, or you know, whatever they're doing.
Hi Jim,
Cool.
I'm Sean.
Sean,
Yeah.
hi,
Yeah,
Sean.
nice to meet you.
Kind of giving him a tour of the facility. Yeah, big YouTube guy apparently. I don't know.
Safety second, what's first?
We are producing more better quality tents now with less people than we were before with more people, just by changing the processes and the equipment, the way the tables work, basically catering to the needs of the end user. All right, so over here, you've got all of your raw material. We also have here cut pieces of the tent, so each one of these pieces goes into a tent. Like I said earlier, there are 110 pieces that comprise a tent of fabric. Back here we have the fabric laser. This is probably the coolest, biggest time-saving thing that we've done so far. This is probably my favorite part of Fabric Town because it's the original heat press we've been using for like the last 4 years we've been in production. It has had some changes to it. So one of the big changes here, these green buttons are required to be pressed to lower it so you don't smash your hands. You only have to learn that lesson once. Over here we have ultrasonic tacker, which is what we use for some of the seam welding, which is pretty cool. Just use ultrasonic waves to create the heat, which then tacks the material onto the, or the zipper onto the material. Not only do we do the tents in-house, we also do the mattress covers too, which are down here. Everything that we do here is super intentional, from the mat on the bottom so that the tent material doesn't drag on the ground when you're moving the carts around, to building cases to hold everything. So this tent case has all of the zippers and pieces necessary to finish over there. And once this is all done, it will go on the small parts cart and it'll head over to final assembly. This is final assembly. It's super quiet in here for some reason, but it's fine. It's like nobody,
I'll be able to hear you now.
it's like nobody's working or anything, you know. Yeah, so final production. What's really cool about this space is this is basically where everything culminates, right? So you get your carts over here. So these are 2 finished carts. This is your extrusion cart, small parts cart, panel cart, what we saw earlier. Fence is underneath right there. This is where it all comes together. Another example of how we do things very intentionally would be the tables, right? So you have a panel table here. You need to get underneath the camper while you're building it. You can remove these panels here. Then they're there to use as a workstation if you need to. So here you can see a little bit of kind of the build process. So a lot of people think that the camper is just a bunch of hollow tubes bolted together, and they'd be incorrect in thinking that. So you can see all of the joints here that go into basically giving the strength, the frame that it has. And of course there's more into it, but this is just a small part here. Out of all these aluminum pieces here, there are only 2 that we don't do in-house. And that'd be the strut ball mounts, and that's because they already come with the struts. This is our Plascore and cushion area back here. So we've got the Plascore master slash foam master back here, basically building all of the panels needed for the rest of the camper. So the roof, the floor, and then Of course, the removable panels is part of the modular floor and the mattress.
So this is like the floor piece.
Yep.
That's pretty thick and strong.
Yep. Yeah, so this is going to be your fixed panel, removable long panel, and then you got some small panels over here. Yep. Yeah. So he's building the small panels right now. What's cool about the small panels is this sheet of Plascore and the foam will be packaged into its own mattress cover, which makes it really easy to just toss in the bed if you need to.
And then you're installing 40 every week.
40 every week minimum. Yep. Yeah, it's pretty neat, and it's all done right here. I mean, the installation facility is right up the road, so you know we're all pretty close here.
And how many people work here in total?
63, I believe, right now is the total number of employees, which is huge. Like, that's so cool to think about that, you know, because we've been so small for so long. And I mean, it shows that we're utilizing them correctly, which is bitchin'. All right, so over here in the yard, you have all the completed campers that are ready for installation. What's cool about this is you'll see colored flags on all the units. Those correspond to the day of install. So the guys at installation basically have a sheet that say all the purple campers are for Thursday, all the blue ones are for Friday, all the yellow ones Saturday, green Sunday, which is pretty neat. And it's constantly rotating. One thing that we don't like to do here is become complacent. So we find a good balance between ease of use and, I guess, human intuition, right? So you can't just come out here every single Thursday and know that it's going to be purple, because it's not. It's going to change. But you do know that color is for that day.
What color is it going to be today?
Yeah, exactly.
Look at this, guys. So I'm going to put the address on the bottom of the screen. This is where you come if you want to pick up one of these campers. No, I'm just kidding.
Heck yeah.
That's a lot of campers. How many you got here? Like 50? It's like the week's worth?
Pretty close to. So we've these are all special units for one reason or another. Some of these up here actually are like historical pieces, which is pretty cool.
How long have you guys been doing this?
First camper was technically delivered in August of 2018. The company started in May of 2018. So just turned 4.
This is the camper here. It's got the green sides, which match the truck. Now we're probably going to wrap the truck, so we'll probably wrap the panels as well, and it'll look a little bit different. But for now, it's going to match really nice. And I'm going to show you guys some of the features and why we're choosing this one once we get it on the truck.
Yeah, so we put a nice thick neoprene seal on the bottom here, so that way that the truck bed will be flush all the way around, since for whatever reason the front end always seems to dip down lower than the bed rails.
All right, so the camper is on the truck. We're just getting it all mounted up, tightening down the clamps, putting on the accessories. This thing looks so good on here, guys.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
All right, so Larry's just preparing a ladder so that we have the option of using a ladder, because one of the coolest things about this tent is you can go in from underneath in the bed and just remove some of the floor panels when it's open. But if you've got a lot of gear back there and you want the option to go in from a ladder, we got that.
Sick. There we go. How do you feel about where that's at? I think
Looks fine to me.
Should be almost dead center to your door. So.
Woo!
Now let's get him his end cap.
Yeah.
Getting some special options, some VIP treatment.
So this is our laser engraver. So we have our rear corner, right corner. So we have 3D printed. A lot of our engineers made the specific cap holder. So we just throw it in there, and then we have 2 things for you to choose from. Guys kind of got together, so Don't know which one you want.
TSDN it is. That's usually what we do for
TSDN.
stuff. So
So you're
it's going to be engraved on the 10?
yeah, so it'll be engraved on that cap.
That's cool.
And each cap is custom to the camper.
Yeah.
It's not just like we have 500 caps that go on all the campers. This cap that's on yours is specifically for that year Gladiator.
Sweet.
So it'll come out perfectly straight on your camper and be perfect.
Look at that. Unit number, TSDN. That's sick. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Custom.
It's a little
One of
warm.
one. There we go. So you guys know that I spend a lot of time living out of my truck. So there's a couple of things that are really important to me when it comes to a tent and any of the gear I use really. One of them is ease of setup and tear down. So I got to be able to be on the go within 10, 15 minutes. This sets up super fast. It tears down super fast. That's really important. The other thing is, it's got to be quality because I'm really hard on my stuff. So you've just seen as we walked through the factory and looked at how they build everything, you can tell it's all made with care. And the best thing about this is that when we're in poor weather season, you can actually hang out in here. You can take out the panels and you can stand up. You can use this as a table instead of a bed. So you can take like half of the panels out. And you can sit in here, use it as a desk or a place to eat. It's pretty cool. I'm going to show you when I get to camp. All right, guys, I found myself a decent campsite here on the way home. We're going to set up the GFC, show you how fast it sets up. And the best thing about it, that you can go inside and have some living space.
Unaware of where my heart would flow, I was waiting in the undertow. Can't touch the bottom, sit into a tumble. Waves that shake me out of my skin. Never been so easy.
All right, it was getting a little dark, so we definitely needed some lights. I should point out that this lighting kit does not come with the Go Fast Camper. There is another company that makes this kit, and I purchased it separately. So I will put a link in the description where you can find that in case you're interested. Now, the coolest part about this, and one of the main reasons I wanted this, is because of this. Just like that. We're in the tent, and you can stand up. So these panels just pop out. This one does as well. So you can have full standing area in here. You can have just one of these panels open, so you can get in and out, which I'm going to do right now. Now, I don't want to leave it open for too long because mosquitoes are crazy out here and they'll get in here and I won't sleep. But we're inside the GFC. Got some nice plaid mattress covers on here. This mattress is actually pretty comfortable. I also grabbed the inflatable mattress accessory, which we'll try it as well. You can see we've also got light strips in here that I've installed, which works really well as part of the same kit. So there's a couple of small windows here on either side. Larger windows, these are also doors. And you can attach a ladder to either side if you want to use a ladder. There's tons of space in here. This is great.
And I was waiting in the undertow. Set adrift and fell away like bones. Unaware of where my heart would flow. I was waiting in the undertow. And I was dreaming of a